What's up, folks, and welcome to Indie Showcase. So, y'all heard of Downwell? If you haven't, you really should go check that out, because that is an absolute gem of a game that I still play regularly to this day. So, what if you took that, flipped it upside down, made it metal AF, and about somebody trying to break out of hell? That's kind of what this is. Yes, indeed, this is Rising Hell. It is it's a light roguelite. And I know that sounded ridiculous, but it has roguelike elements to it, but it's fairly light on them. But that doesn't take away from how immensely fun and challenging this game is. So this is made by two small teams from Indonesia, actually. And the story of it is that, yeah, Lucifer has been imprisoned, and you are one of many people trapped within his realm, and you are trying to fight your way out of it. And you do that by killing a hell of a lot of demons and some larger demons as well, in boss demons effectively, in order to get your way out. And you will unlock various different things along the way trying to do that. This game is, like I said, it's metal as hell. It starts off relatively straightforward, but gets brutally challenging later on. And I just adore it. It's really, really great. So you have one of three different warriors that you can play as. You only start with one. You have to unlock the other two, but it doesn't take very long to do so. And there's a series of different relics and items that you can acquire through unlocks and again, the unlocks are not too brutal to attain, that allow you to approach the game in different ways. And, well, you're sort of seeing what this is here. So you have two means of defeating enemies. One is just your standard attack button like that. Each of the different heroes has different weapons, and there's also time-limited special weapons that you can pick up as you go through the game. And in addition to that, you have what's called hell breaks, and this is where the downwellness comes in. So if you just jump towards an enemy that doesn't have an active attack going, like for example, that enemy there had spikes, so it would have hurt me if I did that. If you jump in towards the enemy, you will do that Hellbreak attack, which will kill most low-level enemies in one go, and later enemies in the game will take a little bit more than that, but you can use that in order to do significant amounts of damage to enemies. And as you may have seen there as well, you can chain it together. And that's where this thing becomes very much like Downwell, because there's a combo system attached to that. There is a scoring system attached to that, which are those red gems that I was picking up. And you saw in an almost Devil May Cry-like fashion, there are combo bonuses available for doing large amounts of hits in one succession, or hell breaks, or other things like that. So you can run up your score very quickly if you can really keep a chain of things going together. This game also does have online leaderboards in addition to two different kinds of challenge modes. It has a weekly challenge that comes up that refreshes on a regular basis, you know, almost like weekly. Huh, who'd have thought, right? And I'm not playing this very well right now because I'm talking. And there are generic challenge modes as well. In addition to that, if you actually manage to finish the game, which I have not yet, you unlock higher difficulty modes. This is a game that is definitely made to be played repeatedly. And as you can see here, there's what's called rewards. This is literally a leveling mechanic that will unlock additional relics that you can use, additional power-ups, and just some standard bonuses to the in-game elements as well. So you're going to see in the upper right there, we have 22 of, I forget what that's called, but basically that is what allows you to unlock different things. So for example, here's an item here that I don't have. It costs 5. This is where the roguelite element comes in, because that is now permanently available for me to select on different runs. So this is like a little bit of a power-up that you have, that you can use. Some of these power-ups, in my opinion, are more useful than others, but, you know, it depends, right? And so this is my favorite character here that I'm playing. This is the third one that I unlocked, but I'll show you some of the other ones later. And your idea here is that you're trying to go up as fast as possible, and you're trying to get as high a score and as many red gems as you can while fighting your way out of hell. There are 4 demons that you have to take out, and then I believe you have to take out Lucifer after that. So you go through each area here, which is themed differently and has different music, as well as different environmental hazards and different enemy types. And as you progress through this, you will unlock more things. You'll become more powerful. You get to pick a power-up at the end of a level that will persist through the rest of your run. You get to pick one of 3. But you also have a limited number of red gems, so you may not be able to afford them all either. So here's one right here. So you can see these are small little incremental improvements that will benefit you and which stack as you progress through your run and you lose them at the end. It's a fairly familiar mechanic. Roguelike fans are going to know what I'm talking about here. So let's pick this one instead. So as you progress, you'll be presented with different levels that you can choose to go through. I don't believe the levels are randomly generated, at least they all aren't. But you can choose different paths to go down until you eventually get to the end boss where you'll be fighting them. There's a mini boss that you will fight, and then after that is the main boss. Now you'll see here that this game is all about going up, not down. So you can't jump through areas that you like platforms that you've previously been on. So if I want to go down there to take out that enemy below me, can't do it because I came above it. There's also little side rooms like this that you can go through. They're optional. They're little additional areas that have little elements of challenge to them, but basically they're greed elements, because you see if I go in here, I got a whole pile of extra red gems, but I may have taken some damage in here. So if you're low on health, you may not want to do these, you know, maybe a little bit too much risk. Now the game does give out health sometimes. Sometimes you'll have the option to, some enemies will drop extra health, some enemies will, or sometimes you'll find extra health scattered throughout the levels. It's rare. It's definitely rare. There are also power-ups that will restore little bits of your health if you manage to pull off certain kinds of attacks or kill a number of enemies in rapid succession, things like that. So you sort of see what we're doing here. So this is an area where enemies are spawning in rapidly. You can take them out with manual attacks, but you definitely don't want to do that. When you want to use your Hell Break whenever possible, because that is really the way that you chain things together super, super fast, do a ridiculous amount of damage, and get a ridiculous score and combo going. That is really the way this game wants you to play it. And that's why I kind of say that this game is sort of a reverse Downwell. And I really like that. And much like Downwell, it starts off not too difficult, and then it gets positively brutal. I have managed to get to the boss of the third area in this, which has multiple forms, very high-end attacks, and even though I was upgraded to the 9s, I got my ass beat. So, and I'm on the standard difficulty. I can't even select a higher difficulty yet because I haven't finished the game yet. So this game is not gonna coddle you. So here we go. So this is Semi-L. I've beaten this guy multiple times. So you're gonna see he has different attacks. Now what's interesting with this, it shows an actual boss health meter. So I can hit him with my normal attack if I want, but if I can do a Hell Break on him, obviously it doesn't kill him, but it does significantly more damage. But there's a lot more risk associated with that, because if the enemy's ramping up an attack, well, then you can get caught in that, and that can go very badly for you. But they're also spawning other enemies in constantly, which will sometimes drop weapons, will sometimes drop health. Like you see, I got a bunch of health there. So, and I got a fair amount of currency out of there, right? Now, the thing is, because I haven't been playing this super well, I still got to fight the actual boss level. That was the mini boss. So I gotta go up here. Oh, interesting. Now this is a little different. Typically, I guess there is some random elements to this, because typically when I fight the mini boss, the level after that is the end boss, and you only have that one place you can go. This actually sent me to 2 other levels, so maybe he showed up a little early this time. It looks like he did. So yes, these heavy oh, I got myself hosed here. There you go. The idea with these levels is you have to time your jumps so that you can Hell Break the enemies to get your way up here so that the blades don't hit you, which is not as easy as it seems. There we go, but we actually made it, so that's pretty sweet. There we go. So you can pick from one of these 3 options at the end of every level. You can also spend some of your purple currency in order to re-roll them if you want. I generally don't find that worth it, but if you've got 3 items that you can't afford, sometimes it's beneficial to do that as well. So you're getting the idea of this. Much like Downwell, this game is fast, it's hard, and it's an absolute delight. I love games like this. It's very arcade-like. It's also very capable of being played in short sessions, which is great if you wanna play something and accomplish something but don't have a lot of time. It's also very lo-fi capable. You know, this is a 2D pixel art game. Looks great. I absolutely love the look of it. So there we go, the Shocker Claw. I picked that up off of one of the enemies that dropped there, which allows me to both help keep his ads in check and also do extra damage to him. This guy I have beaten many a time at this point. You'll learn the strats for these bosses pretty quick. And of the 3 different characters you can play, they all have different weapons and statistics and attack variants. So like I said, this one has been my favorite, but you can learn to play them all quite well. All right, there we go. I lost that one. So I'll show you a little bit of the challenge mode with one of the other characters, actually. So you're scored here at the end, as you can see. Shows how much extra stuff that you earn for unlocking. And there you go. So as you can see, and yes, agony level is what you get for beating the game. You can also play redemption mode, which is effectively an easy mode. It gives you it basically gives you extra lives. But Blight, that's the name of that purple currency. But you see, by doing that, you decrease the amount of experience in Blight you get and does not unlock new agony levels. So that's basically an easy mode. I've literally never used it. But as you can see, there are leaderboards, and always love that. Love seeing that in here, and they don't seem to have been hacked up yet, which is nice. So Gauntlet is the sort of permanent challenge mode, and then the weekly challenge is, well, the weekly challenge. This one has been difficult because in this one you actually lose health for hell breaking on enemies. The weekly challenge is also tied to a specific hero. So this is A-Rock, which is the one that you start with. And you can choose a modifier as well. So let's do this one. And there's also nice little quality of life things here as well, like the little animations that happen in between levels and at the start in that. You can press the start button to skip those if you like, which is nice. I like games that just allow you to do that to sort of keep pacing, moving quickly and things like that. I really appreciate that. I am playing this with a controller. This game does support keyboard. Not the way I'd recommend playing it personally. You could, but I think having full analog control of the character is nicer. This is a game that, to me, is really best suited to a controller, in my humble opinion. But, yeah, I have been having an absolute blast with it. This actually was in early access for a little while, but I am actually playing the full release version of it. So you see here, I wasn't even paying attention. I'm so used to using Hellbreak on enemies that I was just using it through this, and now I'm almost dead. Yeah, this challenge is not a great one for me, clearly. So you see, you can just press start here and skip this if you like. I like that, because games like this are really about the flow and the pacing, right? So you really want to make sure that you can keep things moving as fast as possible. And I like the fact that the game gives you an option to just say, yeah, I know you want to keep going, let's do that. You know, I always appreciate that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the thing I like about this is not just a Downwell ripoff. It took one sort of base idea of that game, but it totally did its own thing with it. And I think it's very, very good. I think the gameplay flow of it is really good. I like the fact that it's fast and yet also challenging at the same time. It obviously, through the higher difficulty levels as well as these reward unlocks, gives you a good incentive to sort of stick with it and, you know, put a lot of time into it. And this is a game that rewards iteration. Absolutely it is. You play it more and you get better at it each time. And, you know, when I started this, I got smoked pretty darn quick. So let's do Zelos here. That one's really expensive. Decreases the life of archdemons by 25%. This basically makes bosses easier, but it also makes them more powerful at the same time. So Devil Hoof is one I've actually liked a fair bit. So you see, this guy is very much a fire demon. Moves quickly and has a projectile, which is really handy. So this one is pretty good as well. The third character is definitely my favorite, but this one has been quite good as well. But I think this is exquisitely put together. I love the soundtrack. I do wish you could mix the tracks up a little bit, because seeing as how you have to play through the same level on each new run, the tracks are good, but they do get repetitive after a while. You know, either having more than one track per area, or just allowing the game to let you mix up the soundtrack so that you could have tracks, you know, it just played a different track from its repertoire each time. I would have appreciated that for sure. Another thing that would be nice in here for people who are really hardcore speedrunners is, because this game has a one among the various things it rewards you bonus score for are how quickly you complete an area, and your rank at the end of each area is also dependent on that. It would be nice if the game showed you or had the ability to turn on a timer. I don't believe it does. Yeah, I don't think it does. But the ability to turn on a timer, kind of like whoops, hang on. Kind of like how so there's some other roguelites that do this as well, but Dead Cells is one that does that, where you can actually have a timer on the screen that shows you the time length that you're at in your run, so that you can tell, okay, I'm on pace, or I got to speed things up, or I got to do, you know, whatever if I want to get a really good time run. You know, because this game is very score heavy, so it's obviously very encouraging of score chasers. The other thing I would like as well is that I don't really know if there's a formal name for this, but you may have noticed it if you were paying close attention here, but one of the things I don't like is the fact that when you are caught in animations where the player doesn't have control, the timer for both your hell breaks and your score combos keeps going. So for example, if I stepped up here, the combo meter will still tick down. So while you're trying to choose your next item and you don't have the ability to fight enemies, you can still lose your combo. If you're going into one of those side rooms like I was doing there, going through the door makes the combo keep ticking down. So if you had a really good combo going and you go through there, you're going to lose it just because you're stuck in an animation. I don't really like that. I think that games that have very heavy combo system reliance like this should pause the combo tick down whenever control is taken away from you. So whether you're in you know, the store area picking your next upgrade, whether you're waiting to enter a new zone, anything like that, your combo should be paused so that you can pick it up from where you left off. I'm not sure why they chose to do that in this case. Maybe that's a disincentive in order to make people go, well, if you want to go into this area with this extra score stuff, this is going to be part of your, you know, your penance for doing that, if you will. I don't really agree with that design choice personally. So for a game that's so score heavy, I think those are a couple of things that to me should be kind of the standard procedure for score heavy titles. But other than that, you know, those are relatively minor things. For me, I'm playing this definitely not so much as a score attack game. I'm playing it more as a progression game. I'm trying to get to the end, right? This is clearly going to take me a very long time to do. But that's okay. That's what games like this do. And I think this does it really well. The controls are really snappy. I like the enemy variety. Yeah, I like the fact that everybody has very different kinds of attacks that you've got to figure out. The levels that have environmental hazards like this, some of them are truly devious, and you've got to really pay attention to a lot of moving parts at once, which I can appreciate. You know, I really enjoy that. I love... Shoot, I missed that room. Oh, well, that's okay. I really, really love the metal aesthetic, you know, the metal getting out of hell aesthetic that this game has. I think they nailed that. And I like the fact that you could spend hours getting good at this if you wanted, or if you want to just play it for 10 minutes here and there, you can do that, because runs are generally very, very quick. And like I said, this is very much lo-fi capable. You could run this on just about anything you wanted, and it's great for that. This would be a great game on any platform. Would obviously be great on the Switch, where, you know, it's in a portable form and very easy to get to. Downwell actually got some not half bad mobile versions. I don't think this would work on mobile, because Downwell is pretty much entirely about falling and then pressing one button in order to occasionally do an attack. even Downwell doesn't play that nearly as good on a touchscreen as it does on a controller. This has too many moving parts between jumping and attacking and doing hell breaks and everything else. You could make this work on mobile, maybe. I personally don't think it would play very well on there, so I think it's best kept to PC and console. But on any of those, this would be an absolute blast. You know, you gotta like games that challenge you. You gotta like games that are fast-paced. But I think this is something that could appeal to people who normally aren't a fan of roguelikes or roguelites, because the amount of those elements in this, I would say, are pretty minimal compared to most things. This is really a combat arena challenge game. You know, it's got that, it's got the little bit of Downwell, it's got the little bit of Devil May Cry, I think, in it. It's got, you know, it's really about combat theater in many ways. And other than having persistent power-ups that you can unlock, it's really pretty... It doesn't have much roguelitiness in it, so if you're someone who doesn't like that kind of concept, this still might be very appealing to you. It certainly is to me. There we go. Took out one of the main bosses. I've been enjoying the hell out of this, no pun intended, and I will be playing a lot more of it. So definitely wanted to show this off to you because I think it's something quite special, made by some talented people who clearly know how to make the most of this genre. So yeah, there we go. I got an A. That's not so bad. I've done an S on this before, but usually with my preferred character. So yes, indeed, this is Rising Hell. I really love it. It's you've seen the bulk of the gameplay here, so it's great for action fans, and you know, good for people who want a really good challenge, and you know, even roguelike fans will like it a little bit too, I think. So thank you guys very much for watching. As always, if you did like what you see here, please what you saw here, please do all the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe, click that bell so you get notified of future videos as they come out, and tell people that we're here, tell people that we're talking about cool indie games. You know, I love doing this stuff, and I'd really love to get it noticed by more people, so you can do all of that. And also, I do multiple variety streams a week, including of things that you may not see on this show over at twitch.tv/pxabstraction. We have a great community over there, and we have a lot of fun, so I definitely love to see you there if that interests you. But thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you on the next episode of Indie Showcase. You folks have yourselves a good one. Take it easy. I'm going to slay some more demons.